Greetings, life forms, wherever you're receiving us. This is Justin.
And Matt.
And I'm Rayshawn Golden's middle fingers. My name is Landon.
God almighty.
The golden fingers of Rayshawn Golden. Wow. That's about how I just feel about the state of college football this year.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, just go ahead and shut it down. When does basketball season start?
Right.
Crap.
Welcome back, my friends. This is Nerd News Cafe, and this is episode 68. So next time,
confident
just
in
wait. Hold it up. Hold off on the perverted jokes.
Giggle.
One more episode.
Just looking at Matt, he can barely contain himself.
I cannot. I am so ready for next week.
He's loading them up. He's got a team of writers that are like
Team of riders. Letterman's
That's
riders
where
are
all
kind
of our
of
budget-
not, working right now. So
yeah. So I can't wait. We're setting pretty high expectations. I'm gonna carve out about 15 minutes of the show for your
my giggles and jokes. Oh, I need a 5-minute set.
We'll treat it like an opening monologue.
yeah.
Battle
It's
toss.
terrible.
We have a great set of guests tnight. Justin Kritzinger and Landon Dunn will be joining us.
I can do the Leno. Hey, so did you hear about that?
How about this Miley Cyrus? Whoa.
Whoa, Justin
Give it
Bieber
this,
tattoos,
give it
right?
We're not going to talk Miley Cyrus today
Or Justin Bieber.
or Justin Bieber. But before
Apparently, he has a new tattoo, though.
I don't.
A giant chest plate. He doesn't understand that tattoos aren't armor. I don't know. I don't know how we tell him this.
Well, I don't have anything to say about Justin Bieber, to be honest. I will tell you it is October 22nd, so let me be the first to say Merry Christmas 2018.
Absolutely, yeah.
You will be the first
We
one
are
to say
ahead
it,
of
I
the
do
curve.
believe. Yeah.
But we're getting in the spirit. Like I said, we got our decorations up. We're thinking about adding a thing or two, but Halloween's coming up 1 week from today, from this listen, that you guys will be out getting
We
the
get to
treats.
release on Halloween. We get to release 69 on Halloween.
I didn't even
Oh,
think
God.
about that. That's pretty awesome.
We totally planned this, right, guys?
Yes.
From day one, before I was ever a part of this podcast.
When we
It was
launched it, we
absolute-
did the math.
I think it was our executive producer, Ringo, was like,
Yeah. Yeah, you know what would be really hilarious?
tuna in the dog's bowl. But you know what would be second hilarious? Ringo's a cat. Just letting you guys know.
Oh, they're aware.
They're aware. I just wanted to reaffirm that for our new listeners.
He's one of our mascots for the show.
Yes.
Yeah,
Pretty good fill-in host as well. So.
He's not bad. He doesn't
Strong-
say a lot, but when
Strong
he,
silent type.
yeah, but when he does say something, it's pretty powerful,
He's like the high tower if this were Police Academy.
right? Ringo is the high tower. UA's the Motormouth Jones.
Yeah, exactly. He's always making those weird sounds, and basically they're just barking sounds. But he's working on it.
All right, before we get into headlines today, let us go around the horn and see what we've got to drink, see if we've got anything interesting to speak of. Matt, you've got something in a Panera cup. What is that today?
Well, when you go to Panera, it's a very scattershot of what to drink. They have their sodas, and then they have all these little circulatory bins that drop in different lemonades and teas. And they had unsweet tea, and I could have put my own little sugar cane in it, but I went with the I think it's the Godiva. Guava. Yep.
There you
That's
go.
what it is.
Godiva. That's like a mixture of Godiva.
That's what as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, that sounds like chocolate, which I wish it were. The Gava green tea.
Okay.
And it's slightly sugared.
Actually, if I go to Panera, which doesn't happen often because I feel like it is overpriced for a deli, but if I do go to Panera,
They're not a deli. They're
Yeah,
delicatessen with warm sandwiches.
well, you know.
And
You
by
could-
the way, it's pronounced Pantera bread.
Pantera bread. Oh my God. If they had Pantera themed food, like Cemetery Gates pasta, or that's all I got because I don't know the rest of them.
I've been pushing for this for years. We could get like a Cowboy from Hell
Cowboy from Hell
panini
sandwich,
or
yes.
something.
The Cowboy from Hell panini. I would eat that.
Primal Concrete Sledge smoothies.
It's
What
such an interesting clash of cultures. Putting metal with this soccer mom restaurant. It's like, When
Well-
you say Cowboy from Hell panini, that's like it's just those two things should never be said smashed together like that.
I like it though.
But
it
I
makes
do.
Me
I like
happy.
it, yeah.
Like it makes me hungry and happy.
Right? Yeah.
Both
For
times.
some reason, you just want to get in the pit.
Get it.
I was gonna say if we're going with Pantera bread, like you need a Phil Anselmo-esque guy just screaming in your face.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Long hair. And I'll accept. You cannot get hired if your hair is at your shoulders. It has to go past that. That's their requirements. It's not separation. It's not screening. It's a view.
And you must have a Justin Bieber chest plate tattoo.
That's for next door to American Eagle.
There's some bizarre hiring guidelines at Pantera bread.
Pantera bread.
All right, Landon, what are you drinking today?
I am consistent, if anything, so I am consistently drinking my out-of-date Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Though I do want to point out for all of our viewers, because we're broadcasting on webcams now, check out my awesome Smacks mug. It smacks the frog, you guys.
The only viewers you've got are me and Matt, and that looks
I know,
cool.
right?
It's awesome.
And the pops were on there because they're good.
I don't like Pops.
Shout out
You know I don't like Pops.
I know. I find that odd. Like every time I think about it, I was like, who doesn't like pops?
This guy. This
But you
guy
like
right
Raisin Bran.
Yeah, I do
Let's
like
be
Raisin Bran.
honest, in the scheme of things when it comes to coffee, Pops isn't that good of a cereal, but at the same time, Smacks the Frog is like a top 5, we'll say, cereal mascot.
Maybe. I'm very biased when it comes to mascots because Tony the Tiger, that's my dude.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
Matt,
he's-
give me your
he's
top
obviously
5
one.
cereal mascots.
Tony the Tiger, Toucan Sam, Lucky Charms guy. I guess his name's Lucky.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
then the Count
Count Chocula?
Count Chocula, and then I'll put Smacks the Frog.
No Tricks Rabbit.
I don't like Trix Rabbit
He
because
didn't make the top
he's an
5.
idiot.
Yeah, he is an idiot.
I mean,
he's kind of a
He is
boob.
the first person in a world a dystopian Trix land that he's getting eaten. I'm eating him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't realize, just go to the damn grocery store. They're not just for
Exactly.
kids.
That's what I'm saying.
If you have $5, they will sell it to you.
Actually, if you're a kid, they're going to question your buying.
Be like, how did you get here, and where are your parents?
And why did they give you $5 for Trix? This seems stupid.
Can I give you an honorable mention?
Sure.
The for Apple Jacks, the Jamaican cinnamon stick.
Yes,
He's pretty
Yes,
awesome.
he's like on the outskirts. I consider him more of this floating, like he can hit any column except one. He can hit every column.
Okay, if we're throwing honorable mentions, what about Fred Flintstone?
I mean, he's not just a cereal mascot, though.
Exactly.
Barney
That's
Rubble's the
how
way to go, though. If you're going to pull that genre in for your mascot, Barney Rubble's better. Barney, because he's always screwing it up, but yet you get those Fruity Pebbles every time.
It's true.
And they do make you feel really good at Christmas when Barney and Fred can share the Christmas-themed Fruity Pebbles.
It's as soon as
In the-
before you even brought it up, the first thing that came to my head as I was thinking about Fruity Pebbles and mascots and the Flintstones, I was like, I always think of that associated with their Christmas commercials, and you know, Barney dressed up as Santa trying to
If you had
Santa, my
Oh,
pebbles.
I'm hungry.
If you had asked me 20 years ago, I would have thrown Captain Crunch right in the middle of that.
Yeah, I think you know we're also overlooking the Cookie Crisp dog. Cookie. It's
I
now a
hated
wolf.
him. I
It's a
hated
wolf
him.
Yeah,
now.
he straight up got replaced.
I didn't
Yeah.
like him. Him and Hamburglar can go straight to hell.
And didn't Cookie, like, wasn't it one point like a burglar was trying to steal your Cookie
Yes,
Crisp?
Yeah.
like the dog was just an associate, and
was-
somehow
yeah.
the dog killed. In all crime factions, you're going to kill the leader to step up, and he stepped up, and God knows where the body of that guy is. I'm sure it's on CSI. They're trying to find the Cookie Crisp robber.
You guys, I just realized Serial got the dark, gritty reboot we've all been asking
That's
for.
what we need.
My question is, can a dog become a werewolf? Like, if a dog is bit
Yes.
by a werewolf, would
Yeah.
it become a werewolf?
I would think so.
See, that actually feels like a question we would answer on this podcast.
I think
Does
so
it become
too.
smart like a werewolf?
Tune in Thursday. That's our poll question,
Okay.
actually.
That's a
a
good
dog
poll question.
become a werewolf?
Can any animal become a werewolf? Can you have a bird wolf?
Well, how do we feel about
Snake wolf.
How do we feel about animal zombies while we're at it? Like
They don't
I've
explore it a
never
lot.
I've never liked the animal zombie concept
Because it's an unattainable world for you to be in. The minute animals are zombies, you are F. There is no way out. There is
Yes,
nowhere
because
to
if it
hide.
was just human zombies, you would be so good.
Well, you would be better off. You could see a human shambler, but like a freaking finch comes out there and it gets you. You're done. You're done. You never see him. He's like a little assassin zombie.
Yeah, zombie gnats, we're screwed.
Zombie gnats. That's what I'm saying. Where do you stop? Zombie cockroaches. Oh, they're basically already zombies.
Well, yeah,
but-
I was going to say they're already zombies.
That's true. All right, let me get my drink in here. Today I am going back to the sparkling water, picking up where Matt usually leaves off. Oh, sorry, quote unquote beer.
That's
I know.
went to this visual element. Now he's going to out me.
I love
I was gonna
breaking the
Fourth wall.
the.
Is that
no,
even
I
a
was going
fourth
to say
wall?
the illusion.
I don't know the definition of fourth wall.
This is Spindrift, and I've had it before, and this is, but I don't know that I've had the
Quite the name.
grapefruit. Yeah, we get it from Costco as we usually do our La Croix.
La Croix.
I call it LaCroix.
Fancy water.
But here's your beer Foley work. Oh, it didn't have the satisfying.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go get a beer if we want a more satisfying.
I was almost going to do some day drinking.
Next week we
Day
are
drinking.
having pumpkin or fall Oktoberfest beers.
Okay.
For the Halloween show.
I will make that happen.
That's what we're doing.
You will have to remind me.
I think I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Definitely have to send that out as a text because I will not remember it from the moment we leave this room,
Okay.
virtually or otherwise.
Yeah, Matt doesn't listen to this podcast.
No.
Only download, doesn't listen.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 2 or 3 times if I have to post stuff and I forget to copy things.
All right, gentlemen, let's get into the headlines of the week. So, as usual, if you'd like to follow along with us, you can hop on our Twitter. That is @nerd_news_cafe. We spend our week combing through the headlines to find the things that we think are important to save you time. That way, you don't have to spend all your days going through all these websites that you can't pronounce, like Kotaku and
Weird.
So you can just come over to our Twitter account and take your finger for a stroll. No, I said it wrong. Damn it.
Good God.
I was going to say, I thought you were doing it for a bit, but whatever.
Take your finger for a scroll. I'll get it right sometime. This is why I don't get pay work.
Are you sitting too close to me? Is that the problem?
I am. It might be influencing the. Can't nail it.
Influencing you?
Influencing. So Andrew actually on our Twitter account threw something out this week that caught his eye, and I thought I'd mention it here because, hey, if you interact with us on Twitter, forums, email, whatever it may be, you're going to get a shout out on the show. So shout out, Andrew. You're the man. But the article is referencing a SanDisk Ultra SD card that has 400 gigabytes on it, the biggest micro SD card on the market at this point. This was
Which
back in
fits
September.
nothing.
It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit anything. You can't use it, but
You use it, but they got it.
35 hours of full HD video on these tiny little things. Is that not ridiculous? Can you remember how when we all first had Napster and we were downloading music?
Are you kidding? I would start a song and go to bed.
Well,
Yep.
the downloads took forever, but then you could only have, 15 songs on your hard drive? Because at that point we
yeah.
had 10 megabyte hard
true.
drives or something.
That's true. That's
Like,
true.
It's just insane. And our computers were the size of a Volkswagen Bug.
Volkswagen Bug.
And now I'm sitting here with my little tablet.
I remember when a 386 was top of the line. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I remember my buddy had an Atari computer. Like we would get on the BBS boards and frequent other people's computers with his Atari computer.
Yeah. Atari was in that business for a while. They didn't last.
No, no,
No, they did
did
not.
not make the cut.
Just like all their other business ventures.
Yeah, like 2600, 4800, 5600.
But,
It was really weird. Even on the computers, they had wood paneling. What was up with that?
They still
Atari?
do that one. I guess that they're releasing here soon or have released. It's got more wood paneling.
It's
It's like,
classy. Wood paneling
guys.
is classy.
unless it's on a
Let's be
Wagoneer,
honest.
let it go.
Let's be honest. That adds a touch of class. I like having wood paneling on everything.
On a console,
Yeah.
that nothing on
thought of
your
it, yeah.
entertainment center has wood on anymore. Everything's metal and glass.
I'm just saying, as soon as I see wood paneling, I'm like, that takes it up a notch.
Real classy.
That is a refined piece of
You're like-
machinery.
That guy right there has money.
Money.
If I see a dude wearing a suit with wood paneling, I'm like, oh, that guy is successful and he knows what's going on. He knows what's up.
The minute I walk in somebody's man cave with wood paneling, I'm like, wow.
Actually, that's
blown
nice.
away.
And especially if they've got like leather couch, you've got that smell of leather and the wood, and that's just you need a scotch in your hand and a pipe.
Scotch in a
I was
pipe.
going to say your apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Exactly.
And old books.
And
Leather
then Baxter
bound.
took a poop in the refrigerator.
You know I speak Spanish.
I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
He is your little gentleman.
Yes.
I will take the Chinatown.
The man punted Baxter.
Glass box of emotion.
All
Glass
good.
case.
Oh gosh, I missed it. We were rolling so well.
Jay, just shut it
You
down,
need to
shut it
let
down. We're
you
done.
need to let me have a pass because this is not the first time, nor will it be the last.
Oh, I know. I listened to this podcast.
I'm sorry. No.
I'm gonna
I
give
do
you-
listen.
I'm going to get us back on track. I'm going to give you some really good applications for this micro SD card.
Oh, yeah.
Pirating videos.
Drones,
Oh yeah, true.
GoPros,
Yes.
and Nintendo Switches.
Yes.
That's what
That
I'm
all
right
those.
there. That will. You
Will
know
it-
what? That's your.
Will it work in a Switch though? I mean, some of these applications only allow for such a high card. Like the phones, I think the highest you can put in one right now is a 256.
Oh, I see. You're saying it might not be compatible.
It'll probably have to be a
but-
firmware update.
I don't know. This article is telling me it works. I'm going to believe this article because this is Mashable.com, and have they ever been wrong?
Oh man, them and BuzzFeed. What would we do without them?
Exactly.
No, I do. I read a lot on Mashable. It's disgusting.
Then BuzzFeed's actually a pretty
I
reputable.
watch them too. Oh, they are an abyssal pit of videos. It's like I'll just watch this one, and then 6 hours later, and you're late to work. Oh, what happened?
Yep.
That was a cool DIY project, though. Definitely cool.
Well, unemployment, it's at an all-time low. So, maybe that means the line will be shorter for you when you go line up for your
Oh,
check.
absolutely shorter.
Moving on to an article from The Verge. GM will be the first company to test self-driving cars in New York City.
It's huge.
So this one is interesting because New York City, out of there's a lot of cities in the country that are actually kind of loosening regulations to encourage autonomous vehicles to test in their cities, like San Francisco, Chicago, places like that.
I heard-
Seattle.
I heard our current hometown is supposed to.
Knoxville's trying to
it's
get on the list.
That's what I've heard. I don't know that.
Well, because of course, I mean that's a big headline, and you want to be part of that. This whether people really want to lose control of their vehicles or not, this is coming. Okay, I think we're always going to have the ability to take control. I think of like
Go ahead and say it. It's the
know
number
where
one.
I'm
It's the
going.
number one movie.
Demolition
every time,
Man.
Every time you think of autonomous
Yeah.
cars, it's the number one movie.
well, or
Self-drive.
iRobot.
iRobot's true.
Will Smith took
yeah,
over.
but they were doing like 1,000 miles an hour, and he took over. Non-realistic.
But he was half cyborg. He could handle it.
He had one arm that was robotic.
Yeah. As soon as you get, it's like it takes over. You're half cyborg if you have a robot arm.
Sure.
So he was kind of like it gave him like robot like powers. But anyway,
Robot-like power.
that's
I don't think that's how that works, but sure.
but the reason this is kind of cool for New York City or for GM, I guess in general, New York. They've rolled out some pretty strict regulations for companies that want to test there. But where better to test autonomous vehicles than the most densely populated city in the country? And with all
Where
the,
everybody walks.
People walking everywhere, the traffic.
Walk
in
in
New York-
here.
Are you kidding me? If you can make it, if you can make it work there, I'm about to sound like Frank Sinatra.
I was gonna
If you
say,
can
I've
make
heard
it
this
there,
song before.
you'll make it anywhere, GM. Bum, bum, ba, da, da. Cue the music. I'm telling you.
In
The Yankees win,
In relation to that,
and they didn't, by the way.
Thank God. Anyway, sorry, Yankee fans. Not a fan. Sorry, not sorry. I did see a thing in relation to that where Ford is going to go all electric by 2030.
All electric.
All electric.
Wow, I did not realize that.
Let me confirm.
That
this.
is going to piss off some Budweiser drinking rednecks.
There's always Dodge.
Are you kidding me?
There'll
They'll
always
have
be
to make
Dodge.
GM great again.
An all electric Ford Mustang.
Oh,
Let
Let me tell you I have a story I can relate very, very quick. Me and some friends went to a go-kart track here in town, Velocity, I think is what it is, or whatever they call it, Velociraptor.
I was calling it Veloce.
Veloce.
Like it's Italian or something.
That is awesome. That makes it sound better. That sounds like an Italian race car. You want to go to Veloce.
That's like the people who say Target
Yeah, I
because
know.
they like fancy.
But their go-karts are all electric
Yeah.
because it's indoors. The torque that hits you right off the first with that gas pedal
Oh, yeah.
is insane.
Yeah, there's no ramp up. It's just go.
That car beat me up. I
Yeah.
mean, I felt like I was in a boxing match that I didn't even know we had gloves for. I mean, I got out and my ribs hurt, and I was like, "What happened?"
You're
That's
old.
actually called
You're
an
old. That's
assault
what
match.
happened.
Well, I am old, but they actually called me Old Man Matt. It made me sad. They're 10 years younger than me, all of them.
Yeah.
They can all rot in a dirty hell. Sorry.
Well, yeah, to be fair, you did tell them to get off your yard, so...
Look, if you don't start a conversation off by that, they don't know.
Dude, I spend half my day looking out the window waiting for kids to step in the yard because I cherish screaming at kids and telling them to get out of my yard. I love it. I'm about to put a fence around my
encouraging
front
kids
yard.
to come step in my yard. If you're going to step in my yard, at least pick up some sticks or some leaves. My yard's in terrible shape.
Well, while Matt's doing the Ford research, I was going to just mention here are a couple things that New York is requiring as part of this the GM test.
Uh-oh.
So first of all, every autonomous car has to have a police escort, and GM has to pay for that. And
Of course they do, because how is the easiest way to make money for your city is to have someone pay for a civil service.
yeah,
That's true.
and each car must be covered by a $5 million insurance policy. So it's expensive, but I guess if you're looking at it from a GM's point of view, the GM, the company, not just a general manager, it makes a lot of sense for you to invest that money, because if you can go and demonstrate success in New York City and say we're the company that did it, okay, well you're going to be kind of on the leading edge, and I feel like other companies are really going to have to step it up to keep up with Elon Musk anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So this is GM throwing their name out there is what's happening. So just think that's pretty cool. I'm excited. I don't need to drive my car.
I misread what this. I misread it. There will be few upset rednecks because go through it. ICEs is what they're calling internal combustion engines.
Yep.
China, India, and United Kingdom, among other nations, have announced plans to ban ICEs and says it wants to do so by 2030. They want to ban them.
Wow.
India
China.
especially. China.
And
yeah.
India. China.
China.
And India. Wow.
China.
Well, those are two very polluted places.
Yeah. Well, China is a huge maker of CO2 right
Yeah.
now. But they're
They
industrial
fart all day long.
They do. Those
They eat a lot of broccoli and they
Good
fart.
Lord. It's that rice buildup, and then you
broccoli
plug it with that vegetable.
Ugh.
Hybrid
Imagine
electrics
the
are
smell.
Okay, so-
Peeling paint over there.
so where
Ford
we're
is
going
aided 13. Is going to add 13 electric vehicles by 2025, is what they've said.
That's okay. So they will still have ICEs.
They will still have ICEs. I like this.
Ice.
I like ice. Another meaning for why don't we turn everything to cool or cold or ice?
Vanilla Ice was really before his time.
He really was.
Word to your mother.
But now, if you say Vanilla Ice, people are going to say, "Oh, is that like a low end kind of like FBI or?"
No, we're
No,
talking.
nowadays, if you ask about Vanilla Ice, like, oh, the guy on the HGTV show.
Nice.
That's the guy.
Robert Van Winkle.
Does he take really long naps?
You know, that was the first thing I always wondered. But he's a motorcycle guy, so I'd imagine not.
Oh, I hope he's not napping on his
Takes
motorcycle.
very long
Yeah.
comas, I would
That
imagine.
sounds dangerous.
But if he has an autonomous car, he can take naps on his commute to
I
work.
welcome our autonomous overlords. I
Seriously.
really do.
Yeah.
I want to take a nap. I want to read a book. I want to do nothing on my commute to work.
Oh, I'll be sleeping the whole way.
Yeah, naps sound awesome.
If we could get the George Jetson conveyor dress me thing going on,
Yep.
my life is complete.
Let's
Can you
go
just
ahead
move my
towards
arms and
Jetson.
fingers?
I literally don't have to wake up until I'm in my seat at work.
And even then, it's like, yeah, I'm still going to need like 15 minutes.
I'm gonna need like 15:30 before we get to this, boss. I mean, just to get back in the groove here. Heck, he'll be coming in the same way. Yeah, absolutely, 15:30
You're
sounds
gonna
great.
see all these cars rolling into your office parking lot. Everybody's just asleep.
Just sleeping.
There's- they have to put in a
come
big-
out, knock on windows. Individuals like, get your ass up. You're on the clock.
Better than that. They put out this big like gym pad, and they just dump you out on this pad, and there's just all these bodies being dumped out, and the little seat goes and just plops you out there.
I don't think businesses give that good of insurance anymore.
Well, if it happens outside the parking lot, then they're not. They
Off
don't
their
have the
property.
Yeah, off their property, off the premises. They just dump you in the road. Curbs are now made of foam and rubber.
Well, you were talking about autonomous overlords. I feel like that goes really nicely with
Oh,
our next
man.
article here. This is a CNET article from October 18th. Megabots beat Japan in ultimate giant robot smackdown. We are talking real steel here. And guess what? U.S. beat Japan in something
Did you watch it?
technologically related.
USA.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch this video?
I didn't watch the video.
I don't think it could be any more snore worthy.
I'm sure
It was so long and boring. It looked like how do I do this? Do you remember the old robotic arms? They used to, every time they talked about robots, they would show an arm picking something up and putting it somewhere.
A Kuka arm.
A Kuka arm. Yeah. Imagine those fighting. That's it. That's what happened. It was just like blah,
slap
blah,
fest.
blah, blah. They just got into each other
slap
and they're
fight.
just like this. It was like Rock'em Sock'em, except no heads popped off.
I know. These kind of things are typically not very satisfying to watch because they don't arm them with missiles.
Yeah, missiles or Gatling guns or
So they have to kind
fire.
of they have to just push each other over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think in one of the clips, like it goes flop. You know, the first round goes to Japan. But
That is disappointing because, I mean, just when you hear an international robot fight, that sounds awesome.
Sounds pretty
I
awesome.
think the problem is that they are cockpitting it, and I'm like, don't be in these robots. I want to see like one cut in half with like a buzzsaw or something. Like,
so this is like Robotech battle cry
yes,
kind of
yeah,
stuff?
that's what this is. We're not there yet. We're not Gundam yet.
I was thinking
this is the start of Gundam, guys. Get ready. It's going to be in space.
Actually, I'm looking at a picture right now of USA's Megabot robot Eagle Prime. First of all, it's a big eagle head on one of the shoulders
Absolutely
of
it
this thing.
is.
And it's red, white, and blue.
They spent their whole budget on that
Wow.
fabrication.
But
That is America, the robot.
But you know what this robot looks like is Diva in Overwatch. It just doesn't have the legs. Instead, it's got like tank tread. That's what it looks like. It's pretty cool.
Now, is this Diva before they nerfed her or after? Because that's really big.
After, because like I said, it was
Oh,
a
okay.
pillow
All right,
fight.
still-
A robot pillow fight.
You stop it! You stop it! Like they were like at points they stopped the match because the guys were like sweating and you'd think they'd be in there with like controllers and they're like hitting each other. No, they're in there like flipping switches and touching buttons and I'm like, this is terrible. And they tried to
Like
make
the
it
World of
exciting.
Warcraft player from that episode of South Park, just kind of got the lean going on in his chair.
Yeah. I was thinking too about like watching Power Rangers when they're in their Megazord. It doesn't really look like they're doing anything. They're just sitting in there doing hand motions.
Oh, they're probably
Yeah.
practicing those hand motions. They're like, yeah, let me just move. Okay, my elbow's out. Oh, I am not at 90 degrees. That's the problem. Their shielding is just a big mirror so they can see themselves. They don't need to see out.
Yeah.
No, they really don't.
Because who needs to see piloting a big giant robot with weapons? That just seems ridiculous.
If we're going to talk Power Rangers for a second,
Of course we are.
if
Are we?
if every episode the inevitability was that they were going to combine the Zords to become the Megazord and have to fight the monster which buffed itself up to be the size of Godzilla, why didn't we just start there? Why did it have to be like hand-to-hand combat in the beginning, and then we better call in the Zords. Now we have to combine because
I
it
think
keeps
it's because that
elevating.
escalated quickly.
Every episode escalated to that point. Why not just start there?
I think
You
it
got
was,
22 minutes of airtime to fill, dude.
yeah, that's true. Well, I think they were
We
okay
have
with
to
like.
get our mandatory bulk and skull scene because those guys were hilarious.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing. In video games, you never get all your powers at first. So I think maybe that was what they had to take on the boss. And every time it was like, all right, you start low level and you got a sword and you beat people up. And then, now I got like this big cat and I can go slamming it. That they never utilized that much either.
Not
but,
really.
You know,
Unless you're playing Castlevania or Metroid, where you have all your powers at the beginning, then they take them away
they
like a dick.
just rip them from you. It's like, wow, I was awesome. Now this sucks for the next hour.
Yep, it's like, you can be awesome again, just play for 13-ish hours.
I want to know in Metroid, who's the a-hole that hid all the missiles? That was they had to have spent...
It's like
can't-
Easter egg hunting.
Yeah, imagine amount of time of hiding these missiles, and then they just leave it in some little claw hand to shoot
Yeah.
at.
Some alien robot.
Yeah, I'm like-
some alien Easter egg, Easter bunny was like hiding all the missiles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Metroid Easter Bunny. He'll never find
Or
him.
it could be the actual Easter Bunny. We haven't actually caught the Easter Bunny,
That's
so it's
true.
not to say it's not him.
True.
Easter
I don't
bunny
know.
on a murderous rampage.
He didn't really murder. He just robbed you.
No, that's true.
He just held you up.
I'm going to move on to this Kotaku article. Kotaku.com. Right? Oh, I'm close.
Almost landed it.
Yep.
EA shuts down Visceral Games. This was from this past Tuesday, so a week from when you're hearing this episode. EA shutting down Visceral Games, the studio behind games like Battlefield Hardline and Dead Space. So apparently they were also working on a Star Wars adventure game that was
A
like
single-player Star
a
Wars
single-player
adventure game.
linear adventure game. But based on the feedback they were getting from early playthroughs, they're doing a hard pivot on that game. They're gonna keep working on it. It's not dead.
And they're going to make it online and DLC.
Yeah, actually, it says that basically they're gonna make it like some of the other EA games that they're producing.
That's where the money is.
Yeah. So
it's disappointing. You mentioned the Dead Space series. Dead Space 1 particularly is one of those like, oh my god, scary moments. It kind of went off the rail in 3 when they got EA-ified and had to introduce multiplayer because, multiplayer sells, so every game has to have it. It's just kind of been downhill from there. But I mean, this is now the 17th company that EA has purchased and then shut down.
17.
Heavy.com has a list of them, and Visceral is the 17th entry on this list. And just looking at some, it started with Bullfrog Productions, Westwood Studios, Origin Systems, New Effects, Pandemic Studios. That was one of the bigger ones that got shut down somewhat recently. Playfish, Black Box Games, DreamWorks Interactives. Now, obviously, some of these aren't, going to be massive, well-known names, but at the same time, they are still companies that got taken under EA and then shuttered. Phenomic Game Development, Victory Games, Mythic Entertainment, Maxis Software. That one should resonate with people.
Yeah, Maxis was big for a while.
Visceral, excuse me. It's only 13, not 17. 13 studios have been bought by EA and then shut down. And
they can end their season now.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky 13. And as a BioWare fan, we've talked how Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't as well received as they would have liked, and how the Mass Effect franchise has been, quote, put on ice. I'm afraid at some point BioWare is going to be added to that list.
It could be next up. I guess if you're EA and you're looking at the kind of the landscape of things, you're the best way to compete is to buy up competition and shut them down, right?
Sure. I mean, it's corporation's been doing it forever, and
plus, in all honesty, EA, I think the only thing they really consider their competition is going to be people like Activision, those big publishers. They really, I don't think, are going to look at studios and be like, oh gosh, we're worried about this. But at the same time, it's frustrating because 13 studios, 13 unique ideas, or more than 13 unique ideas were brought under the EA umbrella. And you think, oh, cool, EA is going to give us money to publish this so we can reach further than we would have. And yeah, for the at the very beginning, that's true. But then EA gets their, you get EA-ified, as I said.
You get EA'd.
Yep, and stuff like this happens. So, rest in peace, Visceral Games, I guess. I don't have a lot of faith in the new Star Wars game that is coming, just because, it's like, it was going to be unique. It was going to be a single-player, linear story, and we don't get those anymore. Everything has to be multiplayer because that's what sells, and you got to put loot boxes in. And, oh, by the way, get the season pass. That's $30 too. It's just frustrating.
Yeah. And it mentions too that the model that they're going with is they call it games as a service. I don't know what that means. I'd like to do a little research, but basically it says that's kind of the approach they take with all the EA games now. So I'm assuming it's like the putting out the DLC, putting out the pay for play content, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. It is disappointing. It's nice to get kind of unique variety in games. Heaven forbid we have games that you can tell a difference between, but.
Well, if you are missing that Star Wars linear system, just letting you know that Knights of the Old Republic is backwards compatible on Xbox One now.
That's nice.
It is, but at the same time, it's like you bring up KOTOR, and it's like I was super excited when Star Wars The Old Republic came out. I was kind of excited because they're like, yeah, this is KOTOR 3 through 9. You get all your No, give me KOTOR and KOTOR 2. Give me those experiences, because those type of games just don't exist anymore. And it's frustrating because everything has to have multiplayer now. Everything has to have the loot crates in it. It's like the 2 EA games that I've gotten off the top of my head this year, Madden and Mass Effect Andromeda, both have multiplayer and both have the loot crate or loot boxes, whatever you want to call them, aspect. And spoiler alert, we already know this, Battlefront 2 is also going to have the loot crates and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, that's an online game, but at the same time, it's just...
Defeated.
It almost feels like this is the appropriate time to plug my podcast, Butt Munch Chips Variety Pack. Unreased, and I talk about the video games, how we got here in the future. So there you go, buttmunchchips.com. Butt Munch Chips, it on your butt and munch.
You sound like the Micro Machine guy. When you did
Yeah,
that
that's what I was going for.
Nice. I like the Micro Machine Gun.
So the next thing I wanted to bring up, moving into kind of the TV space, TV movie entertainment, we know the Dark Tower movie that we got was not exactly what people expected it to be. And in fact, after the movie came out, Stephen King said that the PG-13 rating was probably a mistake because because those movies are dark and bloody and gritty, and doing PG-13 just wasn't going to do it justice.
Not anymore.
And you've got such a huge wealth of material that they were trying to draw from. 3,000 pages worth of material that they were trying to squeeze into a movie. And it wasn't really supposed to be telling the stories of the books. It was kind of something a little different.
It was supposed to be after, and I guess it did not capture what was after accurately. I'm still going to give it a chance until I see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Because the Mummy got the same treatment, and granted, the Mummy is by no span of the imagination a masterpiece, but it was an okay movie.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it as a movie, it doesn't have to, of course, they have a world connected to it, but it doesn't have to be that way. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and I think that and I'm talking about reviews from people who had seen it, especially people who were fans of the books. It just didn't go over well.
Right.
So what we're getting now is there's going to be a Dark Tower series.
Yeah, they had said that was from the beginning going to be the deal. So I didn't know that personally until I saw the article come up here recently. I guess, and it's supposed to be from where the movie left off, but that doesn't sound like the case anymore.
No, according to this article, it's going to be a complete reboot.
Yep.
Do we know where the series is going to be?
Like where it's going to occur?
No, I mean like what channel? Like, is it going to be ABC? Is it going to be AMC? Is it going to be HBO? Because I also think that will play into. You mentioned the PG-13 rating is kind of a mistake in hindsight, though I think everybody kind of saw that one coming. If you're on HBO, if you're on AMC, you're going to be able to get away with a whole lot more as opposed to ABC and CBS. So,
that's a good question.
Do we know where it's going to land at this point?
I was trying to look through this article that I've got from ScreenRant.com, and I am not seeing a network that's going to be carrying it. The only thing I can see is that right now it doesn't have an air date.
Let me see if I can find it.
But we can certainly ask the Googs and see if we can figure that out. But I think you're right. I think it needs to be something like HBO or maybe a Netflix series or something like that in order to really be able to do the things to do it justice.
Absolutely. And if they said this was the plan from word go, okay, cool. But a series feels like it would fit The Dark Tower so much better than a 90-minute movie.
Absolutely.
I mean, you mentioned over 3,000 pages of literature to fit in, and you got 90 minutes to do that? Good luck.
Yeah.
Where with the series, I mean, even if it's just an 8-episode run at 60 minutes a pop, I mean, you could tell so much more stories and flesh them out.
And it's easier to consume that way too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I really feel like Stephen King, his material, it is much more suited for like TV miniseries kind of stuff. And I'm not saying every miniseries he's done is great, but one of the ones I really enjoyed, and I know I've mentioned it before on the show, was the Rose Red miniseries. I felt like that was so good, and I don't think they could have done as well with that if they had made it into a feature presentation, a movie per se. So
it probably would have ended up being okay, but going with the series, it was able to flesh out the story more, so you were more invested in these things.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree with you.
So Matt, did we have any luck finding where this TV series is going to land?
Actually, looking it up, they are searching for a cable network or streaming service to call home.
Okay.
Looks like they're aiming to a 10 to 13 episode per season series. So it sounds like Netflix is right up there.
Netflix,
Greenlight Tower.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Netflix. You're greenlit.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know that Netflix would take a chance on it, and that's sad. I don't think they would.
What?
This sounds more like Amazon Prime, kind of like jump on the bandwagon, or
I could see Amazon trying to grab this, or Hulu.
Yeah, Hulu, but I don't know anything about what Hulu, like, to me, when I look at Hulu's proprietary programming, it looks random. Like, they have no rhyme or reason to anything they do.
I mean, you could
So
say the
does
same
Netflix.
about Netflix.
And the same
They're
about
all
Netflix,
over the
but
place.
Netflix always grabs like these really weird, off the wall, just insanity. I was gonna let it go. I was gonna let it go.
I couldn't. So, just so the listeners know, Matt and I are facing out the windows of my computer room, looking
Like parrots in a cage.
Yeah, we're looking out into a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon. And this week, my daughter, big milestone, got her first car, a 2002 Subaru Forester. So it's
License plate number. No.
Yeah, no. So she's really excited, and we were making some jokes about it being kind of old school, and it's got a cassette player and all that. So she wants to take it down and show her friends. She backs out of the driveway. She was trying to turn it to go down the road, and we're watching this whole thing happen. She totally ran up in the yard as she was trying to go down.
If your mailbox had been on that side of the driveway, it would have been gone. I promise you.
Off to a great start.
Those mirrors, you might as well go ahead and get on eBay and go ahead and
Hey,
order new mirrors.
This is why we went with a 2002. We did not spend a lot of
my
money
gosh.
on this car.
Oh no! And my daughter's the same way. She is getting my leftover Honda. I mean, it's already got bumps and
Yeah.
beats and fenders.
It's not going to hurt our feelings if she scratches it.
I don't care.
But I think
Turn the key and go where you
it's
need
a
to go.
Subaru, right? So
Yeah.
they go forever if you take good care of
If
them.
you take care of them,
But
yes.
just it might not look great. It's okay.
It looks okay now.
Yeah.
Now, currently.
Yeah.
Take some pictures.
It's a pretty blue color. It's really nice.
Currently.
All right. Well, we'll find out where Dark Tower ends up.
Yeah, they got some time. It's owned by Sony, so God knows. And I was telling you guys just a minute ago, they tapped Glenn Mazzara, Walking Dead, as the showrunner for this potential series. So obviously they're trying to get all the pieces to make this work and to make this do the things they want it to do. I'm trying to see. I saw a thing about a budget in here, but I think it was the movie budget.
They definitely want it to be more
Service
successful than what the movie
budget.
turned out to be.
Yeah, I would
and
hope so.
and I do think that the serial nature of a TV series is just much better for.
They're still saying
Dark Tower.
cross-platform universe, though, and I think things have changed.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's true. We'll see.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out. I hope better. I like the. Granted, I haven't read the books, but the premise of it and the world seems cool. I hope that this TV series pans out better. Like I said, I haven't seen the movie. I can't make any judgments. I'm not going to make any judgments. Like in Humans, which you can just literally judge. But I hope it pans out better.
I wish Idris Elba was still going to be the gunslinger.
That's the problem. I'm not going to lie. I wish McConaughey was still
I
in it
wish
because
McConaughey
it's
was
still
in it.
McConaughey.
Yeah,
I like McConaughey.
but
String is great and everything.
right.
Yep.
All right, guys, we can't go an episode without talking Star Wars.
Oh, I know.
So bringing it
It's
to
in
the
our
table.
contracts.
It is.
GeekTyrant.com. According to J.J. Abrams, Star Wars Episode 9 is going to bring the three trilogies together in a exciting, all-encompassing conclusion. I don't know what that means, but I
Porgs.
hope it doesn't mean Jar Jar.
Porgs.
Jar Jar is Snoke. I'm calling it now.
Jar Jar is a porg. He unzips and it's like, whoop.
It's all porgs.
It's all porgs
stacked
all the
up
way
on top
down.
of each other.
All the way down.
The entire time, it was just 97 porgs wearing a Jar Jar costume.
Oh my gosh, what if the porgs are the
Why it moves
metachlorians?
so weird. Oh god. Oh god.
Oh God, I find myself saying that all the time now. Oh God.
I know. Well, again, I trust Abrams. I trust that this is all going to come together the way that I hope that it does. And actually, I do not have any problem with him saying this because really, as I kind of speculated before, this is going to be the last of the third trilogy.
Yes.
So I think that the math works out that this would be a good way to wrap up the Skywalker story.
Yes.
And I think that
I've seen that before, that they've said this could possibly be. There's a lot of speculation that this is the last of the Skywalker story.
Yeah, and I think that you should pay homage to, well, at least the original trilogy, but also the prequels. We can't ignore them. Shout out to Eric.
It happened.
We can.
Shout out to Eric Lehman. I know you're a prequel lover. That's fine. We can't all be perfect. But
I think there's likable things in it. Just as a whole, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not palatable.
it
to
wasn't
most.
executed the way that I hoped that it would have been.
Correct.
But that's what I think we're kind of getting some of that with the anthology series, which makes me feel good. Speaking of which, because I don't have a ton more to say about this other than I'm just excited. I can't wait to see it. But I will say, Abrams said that this movie, well, in the first one, he even mentioned that, yes, they were recreating moments from the original series with the intent of building up the goodwill and trust of the fans again.
Okay.
Which is what I thought they were doing, and he nailed. That's exactly what he said. So I was right. I was right. Put it down on the record. And he said,
Jay,
now,
get off the table.
Yeah,
I know. And now they're moving in a different direction because he feels responsibility to take it in a new place.
Yeah.
So
You've done the fanfare,
Exactly.
which, like you said, it's not fanfare. It's just getting you on board.
Yep.
And now he's gonna give you the icing on this cake.
That's
and,
right.
And complete the
Well,
trinity.
he's going to give it to you as long as Kathleen Kennedy says he can.
Absolutely.
X going to give it to you.
What?
Actually, in the article, it says that Kathleen Kennedy is not interfering with anything going on with Nine right now. That
What?
Yeah, she's staying out of the
I
way.
refuse to believe
That's
that.
what he said.
I
We'll
think
see.
she's
They've fired more directors than they've actually had directors at this point. So, like, I do not believe for one
You're not
second
buying
that
it?
she is not involved.
Oh, I think a script was handed or guidelines were given, and
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like
sure
you will follow these.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she probably doesn't have to be. She's probably got so many narcs on the set. She's
Well,
like,
do as you're told, or
he
you will be
used-
put into the hole where
Exactly.
we put Phil and Morgan.
else uses the script or it gets the hose. You know what I mean? And that would be the
we
fire
will
hose out the door.
Ron Howard again.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Ron Howard, that's where I wanted to go. So, how do we feel about the announcement for the anthology movie that is next to come, Solo: A Star Wars Story?
That's
I mean,
that's the best name they
How-
got.
It's
how-
Ron
how-
Howard.
how long
he
did
doesn't
they
care.
I want to know how long they spent like
Brainstorming
corkboarding
that?
like spitballing. How about Solo? Oh yeah, I don't know why we didn't go with that in the first place. Why did we spend 10 hours in this room?
Do you think that they tried a whole bunch of different titles in that font, and they were like, Solo just looks the best
they might
because it
have.
fits like in that little square, that rectangle rounded off that they like, and it's like, well, it just fits in there.
Yeah. I really like the idea. I threw out one on Twitter, and maybe this would be a fun no-shirt shout-out. What should the movie have been named? But I threw out A Beginner's Guide to Nerf Herding.
A beginner's guide to nerf herding.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would name it. Blasters, not laser swords.
Sorry
I don't
about
know.
the mess.
Sorry about the mess is a good one.
Ooh,
Sorry
I know
about the
that,
mess.
and I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Or I thought I just fixed that because he says it more times than I can count. I just fixed that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of fun ways you could have gone with it.
Yeah, why not?
Solo's a
But the
little...
title really just sounds like they're about to drop a hot EP or something. It's like that's the name y'all decided on.
Well, it does have Childish Gambino in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that is true.
He probably is like, why don't you just name it Solo? Why are we even spending money on this?
Do you think they were standing around the craft service table holding their plastic cups and they were like,
Plastic, please.
Solo?
On a Star Wars set, plastic cups? I don't think so. I think silver goblets are there for people to drink
Silver
from.
goblets.
No.
They
Red
toss them
Solo
out into
cups
the
are one of those
rabble.
Red Solo cups are one of those things that just translate all.
True. I have seen red Solo cups in the highest of standards.
It doesn't matter what stature you have in the world. If you're playing beer pong, you're going red Solo cup,
Absolutely, you
Heck
are.
yeah. And I can only imagine the beer pong they're playing on that set.
right?
Force pong.
Well, anyway, I wanted to wrap up with one more thing. I know we're
On the
kind of
college
coming
years,
up on
sorry.
time, but speaking of story arcs and wrapping up story arcs, there was an article that announced this week that as we know, kind of Infinity Wars is wrapping up the current Marvel story arc in the MCU. So, 22 movies. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been that many.
That's a lot of
like,
movies.
Too.
Like, that's unbelievable, unprecedented for sure. There's never been a series that has used so many movies to build a single story arc, but pretty unbelievable. But as that wraps up, it's not an end for the superhero movies altogether. It's going to relaunch a new story arc, and we're going to be starting with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So it's pretty interesting because, I mean, take from that what you will, but it sounds like, according to Kevin Feige, that, the intent is to keep this going, and now they've wrapped up this story, and now we're going to, I mean, will it be another 22-movie run? I don't know, but I'm excited. And we were kind of talking about this earlier and saying that does it kind of mean that these movies are going to be like this next story arc is going to be a little more sci-fi than what this previous one was? I'm going to roll back on that because that was something that I was like, I think that could be true. But at the same time, the previous story arc brought in all the different kind of genres of Marvel hero and into the current story arc that, you had your your Thor, which is more of a fantasy. You've got your, Guardians of the Galaxy sci-fi. Iron Man's just a pure superhero kind of dude.
I will say on you bring up Thor being fantasy, it is, but there is a lot of technology in Thor that they just don't allude to like they do in the other ones.
Yeah, there is, but I think that anytime you're playing in the realm of like gods and powers and things like that, it's just a little more in the fantasy side.
Oh no, I was just saying.
Absolutely,
I was just going to say that they use tech in just about every one I'm thinking about it, really.
It's true.
But at the same time, in the Thor universe, especially when you're dealing with literal gods and Valhalla and stuff like that, that tech is just, powers of the gods at that point.
True.
This is the powers the gods have given us.
That's right.
This iPhone in my hand.
We're gods among somebody. With that whole announcement, you like that. So with that announcement, I saw a thing on Slash Film that Avengers 4, I don't know why we're even thinking of it, but they're already talking about it. They are bringing back Iron Man 3's whiz kid, Ty Simpkins.
Oh, okay.
So if you remember Iron Man 3, the kid that helped him out when he face planted into the snow in, I think in Tennessee somewhere, wasn't it? When he in Tennessee?
I think it was shot in Tennessee. Was it set in Tennessee?
I want to say he was in Tennessee when he lost his powers, as it were.
Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Lynchburg, Tennessee. There you go.
That would be very appropriate for the Tony Stark character.
That's what I'm saying.
It would make
Ironically
sense.
enough, Lynchburg, Tennessee, a dry county. What's up with that?
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So he helped him. I think he helped him, and they kind of traded out favors because he helped the kid deal with a bully and this, that, and the other. But this article, and I need to find the other articles talking about it. A lot of people are thinking this may be the end of Tony Stark and the beginning of Ty Simpkins.
Ty Simpkins.
Because he would have aged a little bit by the time this comes out. So he could be the right time to kind of handle the mantle. Because I think at this point, Robert Downey Jr. is getting to the... I'm almost sure he's probably getting to the point he's done. I don't know for sure, but I would imagine so.
I mean, I do think you have to start kind of looking towards the future, and maybe this isn't the correct term to use, recasting of those characters, because Robert Downey Jr. is not a young guy, though it does seem he is super enthused to do anything Tony Stark, so he might keep going, but Chris Evans has already said he's pretty much done acting in front of the camera, with the exception of Captain America. And at the same time, it's like I mentioned, Robert Downey Jr. isn't exactly a young guy. The rest of the cast of the Avengers aren't, a bunch of young people either. You got Scarlett Johansson, you got homeboy who plays Thor, you got Don Cheadle. These aren't young bucks when it comes to acting. So I do think you have to start kind of keeping an eye towards the future. Maybe they'll do that. I still think it would be a good way when Evans does to say, you know what, I am done being Cap. Just tap Bucky. Use Sebastian.
Yeah. Take that storyline. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or even the guy who plays Falcon to take the shield.
Absolutely.
I think that's a storyline, right? Isn't that one of the Marvel's comic lines? Also, just in more of this conjecture of who's taking what, I saw where there's a big pull for Eastwood's son to take over with Wolverine.
Really?
And I don't know where this is coming from. I've seen it on Twitter 2 or 3 times.
Scott, is that his name?
Scott Eastwood? That sounds right. He was in Suicide Squad. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm okay with the Ty Simpkins thing because I think they could work it in. I don't like rebooting people. I would rather mantles be handed over like we're talking. Like this person doesn't do this anymore, so this person straps the mask on. Kind of like Spider-Man has kind of, I think those are separate stories as they were, but the Peter Parker story being able to hand over to somebody, I can no longer do this or you take this over. I think is a better idea than rebooting people. I definitely do not want to see Scott Eastwood be the Wolverine if it's a reboot.
He could be Jimmy.
Jimmy! Oh my God. And the sad thing is, in my mind, I can see this already. Yeah. Or Lady Deathstroke.
But at the same time, we already have our new Wolverine. It was the little girl in Logan.
Exactly. And I don't want to...
Give me X-23. That is what I want.
That's what I want. I don't want Wolverine in there anymore. If you want to go away from him, that's fine. Let's push X-23 as far as we can go.
I would love to see them go in that route.
Because she's vicious, dude. That little girl in her role is just savage, what she does to people, and it is great.
Yeah.
And that is 100% the tone of the comic character Laura, who is X-23. That would be a perfect fit.
Yep.
Love it.
I'd love to see the next one be more like in her teenage angsty.
Oh yeah, having not a mentor there to kind of control her, and she's making the same mistakes as Logan. So
man, her punk phase is gonna be rough.
Yeah, it will. She'll get a Justin Bieber chest plate tattoo.
Oh my God.
Full circle.
Full circle. It's not armor.
But it is hiding who you are underneath.
True. It is a facade.
It's a facade, a facade.
A facade. I still say that every time I read, I'm like facade. Forever facade.
Well, that's going to wrap up the news review this week. Again, please go out to our Twitter. That's at nerd_news_cafe. You can follow along with the things that we are following every day, every week, every month, and every year. Believe it or not. 366. We add a day to the year.
That's right.
What if it's a leap year?
It's a leap year. We're covering leap years, not in leap years.
It's always lethal leap year over here.
Lethal leap year.
And if you don't like Twitter, there's other places you can follow us. We've got a website, nerdnewscafe.com. We have a Gmail that you can send us all of your love notes. That's what is it? It's nerdnewscafe@gmail.com.
Yeah.
I went blank on that.
Whoa. You're sitting way
Let's
too
just throw a
close.
couple underscrolls in there too, just to be safe.
Just make sure.
Anyway, it is nerdnewscafe@gmail.com. We have a Facebook fan page, and we have a forum. And this week, it's going to be exciting to see who signed up, because on Thursday, the winner of our e-comic is going to be pulled from those who have joined the forum. We want to build that community, really encourage the interaction. That's really what it's all about. Like I said, if you talk to us, if you interact with us on Twitter, Facebook, forum, you're going to hear your name on this show. And what a thrill. Let me tell you.
You can put that on your resume,
Let me tell you. Start a Wikipedia page.
On your resume, yes, please.
Just start a Wikipedia
mentioned
page.
on podcast. Oh, well, I see we have a future CEO right here, right this way.
Future CEO. That's awesome.
So before we
Screenshot your resume to us.
do it. Before we cue the music, let's get some plugs in. Matt?
Me and Thomas are still watching Discovery. No, I'm just kidding. It's a really good show. We review it every week. We go over what's crazy, what's not crazy, and I don't even know what to say about some things. So,
Did you get to see Harry Mudd?
We did get to see Harry Mudd. Yeah, Raines is pretty. He's pretty on point, and he is a true piece of garbage.
Nice.
A lot of speculation
Live it
in
up
this
to his
last
name.
one. So
And didn't they say the F word?
twice.
Whoa.
Not good
Yeah.
either. We kind of go over that and what we thought about it. I think everybody's in agreement of what we thought about that. They also drop an S word.
Really?
And it was a lot more organic than the F words.
Oh.
So
like a angsty teenager saying
it was
for the
better.
first
It was
time.
kind of like when you say something, I don't know. I don't really want to get into it. I'm just going to say that they did a better job with one than the others.
Okay.
Okay, Star Trek, we realize you just discovered
Yes.
this word.
Yeah. Well, McCoy's been saying "damn" for I don't know how many years.
Yeah, that is true.
So I mean, I don't know what we're getting away with here.
Damn it, Jim.
I know he's every time. They said it more times than we can count. But nevertheless, we go over it every week. We review it. We talk about it. We dissect it. We laugh about it. And you can too if you join us at Tracking Track Podcast. You can hit us up with your thoughts and what you thought of the F word or S word, as it were. If you don't know what those are, give me a private message and I'll tell you.
How do you know what that is if you're on the internet? I'm pretty sure that comes in your Internet 101 guide.
Well, I could be talking about facade or facade for you layman's.
Depending on where you live, that might be how you pronounce
This
it.
is true. But you can hit us up at Tracking Trek Pod anytime you want.
Yeah. Landon?
Twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ. That's where you can find the latest musings from me, 140 characters at a time. I also have a website, buttmunchchips.com. Buttmunchchips.
Sit on your butt.
And much.
That is where you can find the exclusively posted Game of Thrones talk, a.k.a. GOT Talk. That's where myself and my buddy Hunter East, we break down each episode of HBO's award-winning series Game of Thrones. We do have the complete run of Season 7 up, and we're kind of in a holding pattern because we don't know when it's coming back, nor does HBO. So in the meantime, we have the Butt Munch Chips Variety Pack, which is more of a conversation podcast where we talk about one specific topic. The most recent episode we have posted, like I mentioned earlier, is about video games, how we've gotten to this point, and where we would like to see games go in the future. And since it is a conversation, it's a thing that can be picked up whenever. I have a feeling Hunter and I might be talking about this with the news of EA shutting down Visceral Games. So once again, those podcasts are posted exclusively to buttmunchchips.com. And remember, Butt Munch Chips
sit on your butt
and a munch.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, thank you all for listening again this week. I'm going to invite you to come back on Thursday when we will stir it up the way we only know how. Until then, be thinking about what you might throw out for the solo alternate solo title.
The Solo Cup title.
Solo Cup title. And until next time.
All right. In transition.